goes. There we go. So there's the button. So we've now hit the button. So the magic button. Actually, I ordered a new Mac computer for my desk, and it's in the middle of setting up. We thought it would be set up in time, and it's not. So I had to move over to my laptop to be able to get on. And then I have somebody calling about a saxophone, so I might have to leave during the broadcast. But
hey, business is business. That's good. It's good.
Business is business, and that's one of the exciting things for us is that last month was great for us. We actually had a really good time, and it was just me and Brad pretty much, and sales held up, and we just worked our butts off doing stuff that we could to help everybody out and get people what they needed. So
that's good to hear, Richard.
Yeah. So we're actually really in a good space, which is awesome. The good news is our North Hill store actually opened up today.
Nice.
And they will be there tomorrow also, and then we get to open up on the 22nd.
Yes.
So yeah, Beaver County comes out of the red into the yellow. So
nice. Well, in kind of keeping with coffee conversations here and Beaver County, I had to bring my my Orms mug.
All
right.
Good choice.
And Jen, I hear you're into the cold brew. This is actually cold brew. I can't do the hot stuff today. It's nice out. So yeah. So I went with that, and
I love cold brew.
Yeah, me too.
I love any form of caffeine, really.
I'm not as advanced. I think I saw the coffee conversations the other day, some of it at least, with Amber. And you were saying, oh, this is the cold brew that I made on my own.
Yeah.
And you were going to start a cooking show. And I'm thinking,
I really want to do that.
This girl, I haven't seen her or talked to you in a while. This is like, Starbucks medium that we bought at Giant Eagle by the container. So
that's so great.
Yeah.
It's coffee, it's caffeine. I just had a lot of time, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn how to make it because why not?
Because
I even make the seltzers, like cold brew seltzers. It's really good.
Really?
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, if you ever do get to a cooking show, I've still got a lot to learn.
All right.
That's our next venture is cooking with Jen. Actually, I think we're gonna call it adulting with Jen.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Going to follow Jen in her journey of adulting.
There you go. I mean,
because my form of cooking is very chaotic and figuring stuff out along the way.
It's all we do. All right, so thanks for joining us, everybody. It's Conversations number 53. Today we have Nate Goodrich from North Allegheny School District. Correct? That's right.
Correct.
Right where you are now.
Yep.
Yeah, he used to be the orchestra director at Blackhawk, and then he was stolen away from us and was wooed by the big city. And now he's doing creative and wonderful stuff up at North Allegheny, which is awesome. So how are you dealing with your quarantine?
Oh, boy. To be honest, a lot of ups and downs. I mean, educationally, where I'm at, now with North Allegheny, Carson Middle School, I teach grades 6 through 8, orchestra, and general music 7 and 8. And we're fortunate enough to be pretty well set up for something like this. I mean, nobody's really prepared, but we're a one-to-one building with iPads, and we had Blackboard software, and I was already using Flipgrid and some other things for assessments, not frequently, but my plan was at least 2 or 3 times a year. So the kids were familiar with those things, luckily, which I think, helped us with the massive learning curve that we're all on. And that did help. That definitely did help. But the challenges are still there. And it's been like I said, lots of ups and downs. I miss my students. I miss all of my students, current and former. I was, I had the honor and the privilege to be able to teach, Noah, Autumn, and Gabe, and love to see your updates periodically that about what they're doing, and that's awesome to see. But it's challenging to connect with students in this environment. There's no better medium than the arts, than music, to be able to do this. But the way we traditionally do it has completely changed, and I think will, to some degree, for the foreseeable future, change for good, or at least, you know, some of it permanently, and then maybe over a decade or hopefully shorter, it will change back. But hopefully, and there's a lot of opportunity to connect with students. So that's why I'm viewing my assignments. You know, they're either connection or instruction, and the ones that are connection are equally, if not more important than the instruction right now. And that's kind of the way I'm approaching things. You know, everybody's in a different circumstance.
Yeah. Everybody is in a different circumstance. And it's great that you guys are a one-to-one kind of school. Because I was talking to somebody yesterday that, you know, like some of the school districts just gave up because there was just not enough technology to get out to the students. And so that's one of those things that hopefully will get addressed going forward to all school districts, that it'll be a better situation as far as technology, because obviously we're not through this yet. And they're talking about another surge in November. So whether, you know, if we do go to school, is it only for a couple of months and then we're out again for, you know, a couple months, and how does that look? I mean, as I've said on multiple of these coffee conversations, I'm glad I'm not an administrator having to deal with this.
A lot of important decisions all at once, you know, and it's just massive important decisions, massive change, but opportunities. I've learned more. I've always learned from my students and always have been grateful for that. But I've learned more about technology in the past 8 weeks than I don't even want to say. I mean, it's just you're thrown into the fire and you make it happen, and you take those skills and you build on them. So
yeah. I mean, and that's great. I mean, because, you know, we're seeing, I've been talking to different, trying to get some equipment now, and now like every piece of USB microphone are like unavailable till August. Interfaces are gone. Now cameras are starting to disappear. You can't find cameras anymore.
Yeah.
It's an interesting part of the market that you know, wasn't really doing a whole lot before, and now all of a sudden everybody's trying to get online and make the best thing, and you know, including us. I mean, we're working on our video skills and our what we're doing, and obviously we're doing this show, and we Noah's doing a live stream of a church every day.
Nice.
He's actually doing a 3-camera shoot out at this Catholic church. It started off with 1 camera, and it was like, okay, let's get a video switcher. So we bought a video switcher, then got a couple more cameras, and
isn't that how it always works? It's almost like, you know, Project Creep. When you first own a home, when you have gear, it's like, oh, I didn't know I needed this. I didn't know I needed that.
Right.
And pretty soon, and knowing Noah, he's just having a blast doing that.
Oh, so yeah, he's having a great time, and it's like
he's good at it too. So hey, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it really is those skills that he didn't know he was going to pick up, and he, in fact, Capital announced pretty much that they're going to an online situation next semester. So he's like, I'm not going back for that semester because it's not worth it. So he's going to stay home and keep doing stuff that he's doing like that. And you know, and autumn's going to go to Mount Union, and who knows what that looks like. As far as, you know, nobody knows what the fall looks like yet, but we'll get there eventually.
It seems like a lot of the colleges and universities are kind of leading that decision making. You know, some of the camps and the professional development I would take a look at through universities every summer. You know, can I fit this in? Can I do that? They're going online. They're going here. Right. And I'm glad it's still offered, but it's just different. And you know, the Ohio State string educators workshops, the up at Westminster, I think it's the Strathgainey Scottish fiddling with Dr. Crawford Pertu is online now. A lot of these things, they're just out of safety and precaution, and we'll be back soon enough. I mean, if you really want, we can crank up an amp or something and stay 10 feet away, or, you know.
Right. That's very true. I mean, we Conn-Selmer has that Conn-Selmer Institute that's every summer. That is actually a fantastic educational experience for educators and for college students. And they're doing it completely online this year. And they're still offering back 49 credits. They're still offering all this other stuff. They've reduced the price by half. I think right now it's $99 for their 3-day summit. That's normally $300. And it's like all the top educators in the country. So they're doing that virtually. So we've been watching what's going on as far as everybody trying to position themselves. And the fact that this technology has gotten so good so fast. Like when we first started in, things were breaking, right? So Facebook was breaking, Zoom was breaking, all that stuff was breaking because they weren't ready for the demand that all of a sudden was there. And then everybody ramped up apparently and figured out how to get it more stable, because whoever is the most stable in this time is going to be the winner.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, so if you can get your platform out there and up and running and stable, you're going to win. I mean, that's the big push probably behind Google Classroom right now. So they're pushing that out for free to try to get the market. And and I know that all the people like NoteFlight gave their stuff away for free, and a bunch of other people have given their stuff away for free. And to be honest with you, it's to get used to using it, which a lot of teachers didn't have time to learn how to use it and how to deal with it. And then you get into it and they're like, oh, well, now it's not free anymore. I need to buy it.
Yeah. There's that, what do they call it in business? A stickiness factor. When you get a customer, there's a stickiness factor. They're going to go back to what they're comfortable using. You mentioned Google Classroom. It's not something I use because we have Blackboard and I'm just familiar with that. But some of the teachers already use that and are familiar with that. I had a professional development the other day through the IU on Google Sites. And I'm thinking now, okay, what can I do with this? It's a lot easier than I thought. And before, I mean, you're so focused on kind of your score study and your teaching and what methods you use and your students. It just wasn't something that came on my radar, and now it is. We'll see what happens this summer with my thought is we're going to be in the classroom some, and potentially we're going to be remote learning some. So you have to be prepared. So I'm thinking, take what I already do and put it online so I can teach the students in person when I can. And if something happens in November or earlier or later or whatever, I've got this this base of content that I can draw upon and share with other people and have my students just benefit from that. It's challenging. I mean, stringed instruments were not invented with with this sort of thing in mind, and I have concern for the beginners and how what are we going to be teaching. I grew up in kind of a Suzuki method system where you're using your ear, the teacher's right there, you memorize a lot of things, the reading comes later. And that sort of thought process, is that going to translate to we're going to be teaching more ear training and theory first and then the technique of playing the instrument later or intermittently? I don't know.
I will tell you one thing you need to teach them is how to tune their instrument. That is one thing. We literally get calls 3 or 4 times a week from people because they don't know how to tune the instruments. So we actually get on a Zoom call with them or whatever and actually show them how to tune the instrument over. But I can't tell you how many broken strings we've had. I can't tell you. And it's like, it is interesting because a lot of the beginning teachers don't teach the kids how to tune because they don't want them to break the strings and they don't want to. And I understand it from that standpoint. But on the other side of it, the kids don't know how to tune their instruments. Right.
When you see them every day, it's not an issue. You want to focus more on the technique of playing.
Right.
They even said, there's this famous story of Django Reinhardt and the Hot Club of Paris with Stéphane Grappelli, and Django being this amazing guitarist. He had his brother tune his guitar before each show. I heard, that's his room. I don't know if that's 100% true, but he just handed it over and here we go. Tune this. And there's students out there that play at an amazing level, but they struggle with tuning. I hear you. That's one of the first videos I created was like, okay, here's what we do. And when we first opened up remote learning, that first week, I think it was, we didn't have access to video. We could talk to the students, we could chat with them live, but we didn't have access to video. And then when that was approved and opened up, we could do more. But I remember I tuned. It was like the smallest victory ever. I tuned a viola. I walked a 6th grader through a viola tuning when they had a slipped peg, and you're there and you're saying, okay, push in and up at the same time, slowly. And just how you described that, and she did it, and that was a win at that point. Now there's the bar is set a little bit higher, but I still have tuning checks when I do my Google Forms. I say, is your instrument tuned and in working order? And every time you go through, you say 99%. There's somebody who's, meet me for office hours and I'll walk you through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've even heard, some districts that they would have almost a drive-up tuning, and in the eastern part of the state, actually, I heard a few districts were doing that. We weren't comfortable with that. I don't think a lot of parents in our district would be, but it was. We can walk them through it. The 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. It's now or never. So.
Right. Yeah. And we've had a lot of people come through the store that we just tune them up and send them back out and and stuff like that. Or, we've been doing that just to take care of anybody that we can take care of. I mean, that's really what it is right now. Cause everything is, as I keep saying to people, there are no rules at the moment. We'll make up the rules as we go because there isn't any defined rules of that kind of thing. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. Just looking at, what next year looks like as far as people trying instruments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And actually, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and along with that, I've noticed a lot more, like, especially from us, like doing like fittings or even just like doing like, step up instrument selections and going from teaching, music, instrumental playing is such like a physical thing. It's like, we have to be able to talk and use the right words and to be able to help with that. Like, push in and up at the same time rather than like, just like
right. And the visual learner, they're going to get the video or the the live stream. The person who's it really is it's a whole new setup. You have to go back and think through your lesson planning and your verbiage and what you're going to say for the desired result. And you're totally right. It's going to be interesting when some people will emerge, and I think already have, that are excellent communicators in that way, and they'll teach us. They'll teach us what works the best, and that's another thing I see is the music community out there, and through this medium too, through your coffee conversations. I haven't been able to catch all of them, but a good handful. Just listening to people in their mindsets, what they're sharing of what they're doing is nice. And within my own district, got a lot of support with the other music teachers, and even just to vent. Sometimes things don't work and you're not getting the desired result, but you're putting a lot of time and effort into it, and that's okay too, because you can't. I think the thing that bothers me the most is I'm used to seeing their reactions instantly and reacting to their reaction, and I can't see them watch my video. I can't see them struggle when they're creating or completing their assignment or when they're practicing, and it really bothers me. I mean, at first it was really hard you don't have the rehearsal setting, you don't have these normal things, so I had to adjust. One of the fun things I did in my videos, because you start to go a little, you're like, okay, well, are they watching? Are they listening? They're completing the assignments. But I would embed a secret word somewhere in the video. And the first two was like at the end. And, it was something, it's middle school. I teach middle school. So it was, the secret word on the first video was socks. I said, because you don't know if I'm wearing any socks. So that's total middle school joke. And they go through and they would have to fill that out. And then I'd start to put them at different points in the video, mix up the instruction, make it fun, because this is a time to be lighthearted too, in such a heavy situation.
Yeah, it really is. And that does give them some sense of normalcy and some sense of, because you've always been the pun guy anyways, right? You've been the bad joke guy. So always putting that in there.
By default.
By default. Yeah. So, having that normalcy in their lives actually helps those kids out.
Yes.
I mean, it really does. I mean, it gives them something to grab onto, and it gives them something to work on. So that is super cool. So you have 2 small children at home. Is that correct?
I do. Yes.
So how is that going?
Well, one of them is napping now, and the other one is upstairs. Did you know that the state of Pennsylvania will owe me a teaching certificate in kindergarten at the end of this, because we have no, not really. I hope so. I mean, they're welcome to send it to me. You know, it's no, we live in the Seneca Valley district, which does an amazing job, and my daughter, who's 6, she's in kindergarten, and I'm teaching kindergarten most of the time. My wife works at the hospital, and you know, when she's off, she'll do lessons too. But I never thought, you know, I've grades 4 through 12 is what I've taught my whole career, and now, hey, look at that. I think a lot of parents, though, right? A lot of parents are getting, the state of Pennsylvania is going to have to send them their teaching certificate so they can put it on the wall at the end of this thing.
I had to give attention to my daughter yesterday because she was talking back. So.
Oh, there. See? I'll send you some extra slips. You know?
Thanks. I can use them. She's been nothing but yeah. And so your wife is a frontline worker. She's one of the nurses,
She's a nurse at UPMC, and not in a COVID unit per se, but in hips and knees. Okay. You know, repair and orthopedic surgery and whatnot, and that offers kind of a different perspective on things. I think at first. I think the hospitals nationwide, except for maybe really hot spots like New York City, saw almost a drop in their census because nobody was going in for these elective surgeries. People weren't going in for appointments and other things. So it was the reverse of what you might expect at first with the fear factor. But it's always there. I mean, the precautions and the changes that we take personally, and then they take at the hospital are big changes. And as information rolls in about what exactly, you know, we're dealing with is it's important to kind of know and understand. And but you know, she does a great job, and I'm proud of her. She gave me a haircut a few weeks ago, which was another first. Did a nice job there. But,
right.
I mean, it's
you don't know your skills.
Yep, I didn't know she could do that, but
nope.
You do
cut Noah's hair.
I cut my hair.
Yeah, she cut her hair. She cut Noah's hair. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So
I told her, you know, if you cut mine, I get to cut yours. And I said, no, just kidding. No, I do not want that responsibility.
Oh, no. Much better doing.
Yeah.
No. Yes. Oops, I'm getting a phone call. Sorry. I'm going to leave you guys for just a second.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, you guys go ahead.
And he's gone. No,
all right.
So I just want to tell anybody who is watching this, if they have any questions or want to say hi, just comment below. But also, okay, so talking about school and stuff, what are you doing as far as like recruitment? Have you started thinking about it, talking to like families, kids, or anything like that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Luckily, before all of this kind of went down, before schools shut down, I had made because I'm kind of in the middle, right? I'm the middleman for grades 6 through 8. In the elementaries, I had visited all of the 5th graders and, you know, talked to them, kind of a meet and greet, played. Part of my recruitment thing is I feel it's important to play for them. So they, you know, your instrument. So I always do that, and got to know them, kind of got an idea about, you know, who was coming up, what I would have. That may change. I don't know if the students have, I'm sure their outlook has changed as we all know, but so that was taken care of. But I have thought, Jen, it's interesting you say this. I have this list of videos, and how I mentioned earlier, videos I want to create, that is, and kind of send them out. And I want to create one and send them out to the 5th graders so that they know, hey, I'm still here, and you know, we're still going to do this, and we just don't know quite what it's going to look like, but let's move forward. Let's you know, keep practicing, keep playing, take advantage of some opportunities we have over the summer. At North Allegheny, we're going to do some Zoom lessons and some other things over the summer.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. So that'll keep them, you know, keep them interested, keep them engaged, and who knows what the summer is going to look like for them. I know looking for our 6-year-old daughter, there's not the same, well, obviously there's not the same amount of camps and activities that are open. So maybe some lessons and some practicing put together is a great option for kids. And I hope they'll take advantage of that. So that's really where I'm at with recruiting. But I think even more than that is it might be important when I think it through a little bit more as we close out these last handful of weeks of school, to stay in touch. I think that's important because for some kids, especially at that age, I remember the summer was like, it was like a lifetime. It was like an entire year, and it goes fast for us now. But back then, what they signed up for, what their mindset is, you have to keep them focused, keep them looking forward to things, and really keep their minds on that. Yes, things are still going forward, and music is still a big, important part of your life. Like Richard was mentioning, though, I think recruiting overall, if I was recruiting the the beginners, that would be a whole different ball game. We're going to have we have some Zoom meetings, as everybody does, but we have at North Allegheny, there's a decent amount of string teachers, and we all kind of bounce ideas off of each other. And I think recruitment is one of the things we're going to address, next week, and maintaining that. We always sign kids up fairly early, but that whole part where, okay, you get to try the instrument, you get to rent the instrument. What's that process look like, and what do we communicate to them? I know a lot of the area businesses that we deal with, including yourselves, are making all these great adjustments and taking sanitary precautions and making that easy on the parents, or easier on the parents, so that their child can participate. And there's still great opportunity here for them. I always have viewed, string orchestra and music in general, it's always a great opportunity to get involved at a young age. Richard, now that you're back, I thought of this too, Jen. We had, and I don't know if anybody else has done this, but our 6-year-old daughter, the kindergartner, has started piano. She's going on 1 year of study in this summer. She'll be at 1 year of study. She started about 9 months ago. So we had her first spring recital, and this was a couple weeks ago. And I'll tell you what, like everything that you do to create that recital, we invited, it was friends, and we asked her, who do you want to invite? Okay, yes, it would be nice to invite your kindergarten teacher and your great aunts and these people. So we had to make sure everybody understood, hey, we're going to hold this on Zoom, do these technology checks, make sure everybody could hear. It was like I was making a YouTube instructional video, and I didn't even know it. I should really put that together.
Yeah.
It went really, really well. And my goal in the end was just for her to not be robbed of that first recital experience where she gets that feedback from friends and family that says, hey, good job. You accomplished something. You should be proud of where you're at right now for the time that you've put in. You've practiced day after day for these different songs. By the way, her favorite was, she said, I know you all will love Old MacDonald. And she would just go to, like, it was the big build up to Old MacDonald, and it wasn't even the last song. It was much more interactive than I would have guessed. And the way, just the way I set up the computer near the piano, everything was the same, except it just wasn't people in the room. And I think that was nice. We all got dressed up. I wore a tie. If she picked it out, it was pink. Great. That's fine. And it was awesome. So I'm thinking more along the lines of those sort of things. And as we get into this spring year, I think of high schoolers that I've had over the years, and the kind of different rites of passage that they're losing or they're changing. They're looking much different this year. I think coming out of that, people are going to be near expert level at organizing and putting together these events. And I'll be interested to see how that goes, because that's one thing that went better than I thought, even better than I had thought, even with all the effort I put into it. And she loved it. She had a great experience, and she felt like there was that practice build up. She stood up a little bit straighter, played it a little bit more carefully for the performance. And that's what we hope for all of our kids, all of our students, is to have that positive experience, so it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah, it's just going to be a way of figuring out how to do it. I mean, and that's, and probably in your situation, there might have been people that she sent an invitation to that might not have come if it was a place that they had to travel to.
Yes, that's a good point too. We had
an
aunt in California, and people in Florida, people in upstate New York, and it was, they wouldn't have been able to come. They would have maybe seen a video down the line or something like that, but they were able to offer live feedback, clap, talk, whatever, and it was a very positive thing. Yeah,
no, that's awesome. No, and I think we're going to see more of that. I was talking to one of the educators today. They're talking about, okay, so if we can get people doing assignments and stuff like that once they're allowed to go back into school, so they're buying technology for their practice rooms so that they can have a camera and a microphone set up in a practice room, so the kid can go into that room and do their assignment, and then they can sanitize the room afterwards and get it ready for the next person. And I thought that was a decent idea. There's a lot of really interesting ideas being floated around, and which is cool. We probably need more guidance from the CDC and from other government agencies as far as exactly. I mean, I know we're working on sanitation issues with our instruments and things like that, and working through that. We have learned now that anything that sits for 3 months is completely COVID free. Can't have anything on it.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a good thing. So things that just sit, but getting those kids from room to room. And, I also heard somebody was saying that, okay, fine, most band rooms are set up where you probably have about half the class at social distancing, but then you're going to need time between the classes. That's the big thing that they're saying that the administration needs to look at, is that there needs to be like a 5-minute class change, so that chairs, and, getting the kids involved, wiping chairs down, and this is in every class, not just in a band class, right? So when they move, one of the other options is that somebody was talking about yesterday was, okay, well, why don't you have, this doesn't work for music, obviously, because not all the kids are involved, but like have the kids in one room and then just rotate the teachers. That way you're not having to do anything in that room to sanitize it again, except for the teachers. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they come up with.
Sure. And anytime we start school, it's all about procedures anyway at first. Right. So this is going to be new procedures, and sometimes kids and students are more flexible than adults, so I think if we plan it out and we think it out and come in with a good plan, then we can do this, and we can make this happen for the kids, for the students. It's just going to be a lot of thought. I like that. If it's between switching teachers, which isn't always ideal if you're sharing a room. If you've ever been a traveling teacher or a teacher on a cart or something like this, and you're in these various spaces, it's not always ideal. You make it happen. But if it's that versus, say, loss of rehearsal time, and you just are switching rooms or doing something like that, those are ideas that I think will come out, and great. That model might work. But yeah, it's going to be procedures, and it's going to be a lot of innovative thinking moving forward.
Yeah. And that's really what it's going to be about is, and what we're hoping is that, obviously music gets kind of pushed to the background, right? So they're worried about their arts and science, no, not their arts, but their math or science, their that stuff. So getting in front of people as soon as possible to say, okay, look, we can handle this. We can figure this out. Don't worry about us. We'll get it worked out. I think it's the most important thing as far as all this stuff right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're always advocates for our craft and because we know the value of it.
Right.
We know the value of it, whether this isn't going to be forever. We know the value of it, whether it's through a Zoom meeting or whether it's instruction at home, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's social distancing. Music connects people. And I've seen some great live streams of performances that I might not have tuned into if it wasn't for this. I really miss jamming with people, and I miss, I mean, just the number of weddings and corporate events and different things that I, play on the side professionally that have just been canceled and moved out. It's just continuous. And you feel, I really miss that. I miss sharing music with people. I miss teaching students, obviously, like I said, and that's going to come back. It might look different for a while, and we'll figure it out. But the arts are what offers balance and structure and discipline, amongst other things, in school. But I've had students over the years, as orchestra has been the reason that gets them through the day. They're looking forward to that, or band, or chorus, or or art class, and you look forward to that. It did that for me, and it's going to continue to do that, and whatever form it takes. So I'm thinking all the time of new ways to connect with students. Some of my lessons and videos are merely for connection. They're just like a moment in time. And then some of them I'm saving them. I'm like, ooh, this is good. I'm going to keep this in my Google Drive or whatever. Right. I'm going to bring this back around. It turned out well. And I think that's what a lot of teachers are doing here. And, we're not going anywhere.
No, it is not going anywhere. And it's only going to get, once somebody figures out how to get rid of the latency inside of the streaming thing, that's going to revolutionize everything. You can get 2 or 3 musicians together, be able to play live over a connection.
Yep.
I don't know what that looks like, but eventually somebody will figure that out. And that's going to be huge. I mean, because that's really one of those things. Yeah. So you do have, you took some classes in like administration and stuff like that too.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that helping you out at all? Is that coming in handy at all at this time?
I think that's always helped me. My master's is in educational leadership. And I think the perspective that I have is, and has always been, through the growth that the Blackhawk, when I was at Blackhawk, through the growth that the strings program experienced over my time there, I always was thinking, what's the perspective of the administrator? How can I help them understand better the value of this? And through my career, I've been fortunate enough to have very supportive administrators, but you still have to know, okay, what are their concerns? How can you help them help you? How can you communicate to them what your goals are, what you're doing, and what the benefits are? And I think there's some music teachers out there, there's some arts teachers out there, and advocates that take this almost like this view of, this is good for you, and we have to do this. And that's not always the way administrators think. They're dealing with budgets and finance and there's a lot of other things going on in their day, where we're all extremely passionate when someone gets a 2-octave scale correctly with 3 flats, or whatever that is, gets the bow weight just right, whatever we're trying to do. What does their win look like? What does their success look like? And being able to communicate with administrators is important. It's how to advocate for yourself, your program. You're really, in essence, advocating for your kids, for your students. Right. It's helped me a lot, because I studied that route. I'm extremely happy with where I'm at, and being a music teacher the past, this is my 18th year of teaching. Can you believe that? 18th. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And let's see, 11 of them have been music.
Yeah.
So
That sounds about right. Yeah.
So 11 and a half ish. Anyway, so so yeah, I used to teach history, so that gives me a perspective too. But yeah, when you're advocating for your program, you have to think about the district as a whole. Your administrator's perspective, and then you're going to have positive results. You if you're student focused and student centered, most administrators will recognize that, and your success is their success. So kind of that shared, hey, we can all celebrate together. So even if it's tuning a viola blindly over a audio chat.
Even if it's that.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Specifically a viola, though. It's not like
it's always a viola, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the cellos were really interesting too, because that's.
Yeah.
I'll bring Noah in for that one. I'll be.
Yeah,
like,
go
hey,
ahead. Yeah. He's around. Yeah,
You can set up like a 5-camera live stream for a whole classroom and have like one camera up top, down bottom, front face.
he'll do a whole series, like a 5-part YouTube series on acoustics. In the church, and that'd be awesome.
He could do that. Yeah, no, because when we first started shooting these copy conversations, they were actually recorded first, and it got to the point where nobody's using 3 cameras and then mixing it down later. And it's like, what? This is nothing but fun. Why? No, this is great. Well, set up these individual cameras, and I'll edit it all down. And I'm like, buddy.
It's a lot of work. Yeah,
it is. It's a lot of work. We had one of our violin instructors come in and play all the violins that we have in stock, so that when we do our sale, if somebody doesn't want to come in, they can look virtually, right? So they can hear what violins we have and see them and do that. Well, he decided it had to be in front of a green screen and had to be. It's like,
I love it. Back in the day when he was in the orchestra, I would get ideas from him, and then him and it would snowball. All of a sudden, no, we could do this, and then okay, so you're gonna stand up as a cello player.
Yep,
it's awesome. Tell him I said hi.
I will do that.
Autumn, I said hi. Tell Gabe
I will do
said
that.
Hi.
I will do that.
And I miss them, and
No,
I wish them the best of luck.
When we were at Blackhawk, we always described you as the Pied Piper, because it was amazing watching you and 145 elementary kids, and the control that you had over 145 elementary kids was magical to watch.
It was. I'm glad you feel that way. It was magical when it went right. Yeah, it was okay. Here we go. Let's put on this huge concert in the gym, and you have three rows of just these Suzuki style, bowing and bows and everything. It was awesome. It was just this. It was a dream come true.
It truly was amazing to watch. I mean, it really was.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no. I mean, the amount of respect that I have for you as an educator was like, wow, just that's crazy. But yeah, just clap your hands and they stop, and it's like, wow, I can't do that.
You had to give your daughter detention.
Yeah, that's why I give a lot of detention, because she doesn't listen.
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right. So are we good to wrap up? Probably. It's been 45 minutes. Don't take too much of your time, but we appreciate you coming on. I really do appreciate you and everything you're doing and keeping things together.
Well, absolutely. Thank you for having me on, Jen. Thanks for having me on, Richard.
Thanks.
You guys are great. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
And I'm sure I'll be in touch here. Soon as we go to the instrument sizing and other things going forward. And you guys are a true value to the community, and that's certainly recognized. You guys get the Beaver store or the Brighton store, the Beaver County store opened up here soon, and we wish you the best.
Well, thanks. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Nate.
So, thanks a lot. And we will see you again sometime with another coffee conversation.
Number 5 bajillion 4. That's what number we're on. Make it up.
Our numbering system's all messed up.